Well, good morning, everyone, to the unseasonably warm offices of the unseasonably warm Baltimore City. Today is April 29th, 2021, and this is a virtual hearing of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. My name is Nicholas Blendy, and I am the Deputy Executive Secretary, and it is I who will be running the Master of Ceremonies today. I'll start by advising everybody that we are live on Charm TV and everything is being recorded by our court reporter. So as you can see on the screen, here's the outline of how things are going to go today, and I will now introduce everyone to the WebEx platform. Obviously, in our COVID virtual world, we are safely meeting using the Cisco WebEx platform, like Baltimore City's Board of Estimates and City Council and Planning have been doing. To fully utilize WebEx, members of the public should have a computer, a smart device with a camera and a microphone. And the link for today's hearing is on the screen, and it's also available on our website, which I'll get to in a second. We do encourage everybody to have prepared in advance, making sure that no updates need to be had. Obviously, that's always a pain. And I watched it happen to the mayor in a community meeting earlier this week. So even he is, cannot defeat technology when something wants to update. If you wish to listen in, the phone number and access code are at the bottom of the screen here, and you can listen only. All materials for today's docket are available on the BLLC's website under the hyperlinks for today's date, April 29th, 2021. During this virtual hearing, the board observes a 48-hour rule for online hearings, meaning that all evidence to be considered today will have had to have been submitted to the staff of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners by 11 a.m. on Tuesday, April 27th. We are closed to the public for safety reasons, and we do not accept documents in person. Any amendments made to any application that is being heard today will not have been accepted if it was not made before April 15th, 2021. And if there are any amendments to the application, the board will automatically postpone anything today. In addition to the docket being available online, the applicants themselves will have been mailed a letter instructing them on how to participate in today's hearings. The procedures for how the docket will operate today: I will read the preliminary instructions and the ground rules. I will call each case in the order listed on the short docket. I will then ask the applicant and his or her representative to identify themselves and, if applicable, have the applicant and any supporting witnesses sworn in by our court reporter. Board will then provide an opportunity for the applicant and his or her representative to present their case to the board. They may ask questions of the attorney or of the applicant. Upon the conclusion of the case, the chairman will ask any individuals who are on the WebEx and have access to the device with the video capabilities and microphone if they wish to testify. If you do wish to testify, you should use the raise your hand feature at the bottom of the WebEx platform, and I will let the chair know that you wish to testify. You will be sworn in, and then you will be allowed to have your say. After all evidence and testimony is presented to the board will vote on the application before them, and the Assistant Executive Secretary will then read the exhibits into the record. And a reminder, the board is not authorized to discuss any non-case related matters today. They are sitting in their quasi-judicial capacity and are only authorized to hear the matters before it, specifically on the docket. Anything else, please call the office and we'll be happy to provide you information and respond to your question. The general ground rules: we ask that you please mute yourself when you're speaking to minimize feedback and background noise. We ask that you please identify yourself and state the spelling of your name before you speak. We ask that you please speak slowly and in a clear voice so that our court reporter understands what's being said and who is saying it. A reminder again, we're running live on Charm TV and the court reporter is here. Any individual who uses profanity, is disrespectful or unruly, may be expelled from this hearing. All attendees, applicants, licensees, and members of the public who wish to provide testimonies must be sworn before testifying before the board. There's no physical evidence taken at this time, and again, no amendments to the applications can be made today. We ask that you're prepared, that you're in a good, quiet location with good lighting and a strong connection. We ask that you're present and not multitasking so that you don't miss when your case is called. And above all, please be patient with yourself and with others in our virtual world. Technology is always fun. With that, Mr. Chairman, are you ready to move into the hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right, so today's short docket is in front of you. One administrative matter to note, the first item has been postponed as the applicant needed to make an amendment to their application. So that will be heard at a later date. With that said, the first matter before the board today is applicant Sue Mi O and Michael A. Johnson, Sue Mi Corporation, trading as Kim's Liquors, 2863 West North Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21216. And this is an application to transfer ownership only of a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Clients or applicants are represented by Mr. Shawless, who I have just moved into the room. And Mr. Shawless, you just need to turn your video on. And Chairman, we are ready.
All right, Mr. Shawless, if you will, please identify yourself for the record.
Corporation and Sue Mi O, Michael Johnson.
I heard the end of that, so I assume that that was picked up. Mr. Shawless, are you going to proceed through proffer or by testimony?
I would prefer to proffer. My client is 63 years old. Sue Mi O, that is. She has been involved in the liquor business off and on for at least 20 years. Her and her husband intend to operate the establishment at 2863 West North Avenue, known as Kim's Liquors. They are both going to be alcohol certified. As of tomorrow, they're taking the class. They have in the past had their alcohol certification. They are paying for the business over a period of 5 years with a substantial down payment. They have read the rules and regulations of the liquor board. I also have with me Michael A. Johnson, who is the resident who lives 5 doors from the store at 2853 West North Avenue. I don't think there's any other changes. I know there will not be any other changes made. This is simply a transfer of ownership.
Okay, Mr. Shawless, so the current licensee had a sale to minor a couple of years ago, so you will advise them to be very careful about that and put in place some system to make sure that they're not doing that?
That has been done, and they, as I said, they've studied the rules and regulations. Both of these people are alcohol certified in the past and are taking another course to update their license tomorrow.
Okay. All right, thank you. Did the commissioners have questions for Mr. Shawless?
Have none.
I just have a question. Mr. Shawless, this is a Class A license. Are there security cameras up currently?
Yes, they are.
Great. Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Blendy, do we have others who wish to comment?
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter before the board, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any member who wishes to testify.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shawless, then on the basis of the materials that are contained in the application, as well as your proffer to all the members of the commission, I'd vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of this Class A license. Commissioners?
Commissioner Guy, based upon the information presented and the proffer of Mr. Shawless, I also would vote to approve the application to transfer ownership.
Based on the application and the proffers from Mr. Shawless, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership.
Thank you. Mr. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shawless.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Applicant and counsel will receive follow-up instructions via mail regarding next steps on obtaining their license. Chairman, you ready for the last case?
Yes.
The second and final case before the board today is, applicant Latina Crosby, Crosby's Pratt Street Incorporated, trading as a trade name pending, 1846 to 50 West Pratt Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21223. And this is an application to transfer ownership of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license with continuation of live entertainment. Applicant is represented by Mr. Kadensky, who is now in the panel.
Good morning. Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 320 North Charles Street.
Mr. Kadensky, you're going to proceed by proffer or a testimony?
Well, we'll do it by proffer if it pleases the board. In this particular instance, this application was approved back in October 2019. Same applicant, as a result of the pandemic and some financing situation, we had to change the corporate entity, thereby precipitating this filing of this new application. All the information that was approved before is still evident. Ms. Crosby is here. She had prior experience as a manager of a liquor establishment for 10 years. She'll be alcohol certified. She'll have most of her people that are working there certified, and the entertainment they were talking about is the same as before. DJ, some light musical, maybe jazz or so forth. This Martini's Lounge has had that for quite some time there.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you. So is she going to be able to accomplish this transfer now in a timely fashion?
Well, we're very close to be able to do that now. We finally got the final information on the financing, and if the board would approve it, I'm relatively sure we can make this happen at this point. And we're just, as with a lot of people, we were sidetracked by the pandemic and a change in financing. The bank didn't want to go through, so the owner had to decide to get the financing here.
Okay. And do you know what the name of the restaurant is going to be?
Yeah, we're trying to get something novel, I think, at this point here. If anybody has any suggestions, we'll take them.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay. Do the commissioners have questions for Mr. Kadensky?
I have no questions.
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Blendy, how about the public? Do they have questions?
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter before the board, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chair, I do not see any member of the public who wishes to testify.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kadensky, then on the basis of the materials contained in the application as well as your proffer, I would vote to approve this transfer of this BD7 license with continued live entertainment. Commissioners?
Commissioner Guy, upon the evidence presented and the proffer of Mr. Kadensky, I would also vote to approve the application to transfer of ownership with a continuation of live entertainment.
Based upon the application before us, the proffer from Mr. Kadensky, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment.
Thank you. Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Kadensky.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kadensky and applicant, you will receive follow-up instructions on how to obtain your license via mail.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, so, Mr. Blendy, that concludes our docket for today.
Yes, sir. A very brief docket today, Mr. Chair. That concludes. If there are no other items the board wishes to discuss, I will read the adjournment announcement.
You may proceed.
The board will be in recess until Thursday, May 13th, 2021. The board shall post on its website, provide notice to the applicants and/or attorneys, and conduct a virtual hearing on that day. If anyone in the public has a question, please call our office at 410-396-4377 between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. with any questions or concerns that you have on this matter or any other matter. That concludes everything we have for the board today, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Blendy. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.